Thank you very much for that unexpected introduction. Personally, I think it was a privilege to be in London those few years ago when the spirit of Wallace came home, and it's a privilege to be invited here today. I confess, without realising the full import of the occasion. What can I say that has not already been said? But I think it's not an academic subject. It's not a mere historical item. It is more than that, and as a Scot, our gathering here today is very, very special. Reading over the letters, poems and songs of Robert Burns, our national bard of Scotland, the apostle of freedom and the international brotherhood of man, whom this year we are remembering as the 250th since his birth, I reread one of his little-known songs, Gid Wallace. This is Burns' reworking of an old traditional piece relating to the Lochmaben incident in the 4th book of Blind Harry's Sir William Wallace. Throughout the poem, which relates how the Wallace, shall we say, disposed of 30 English invaders who were determined to hang him, our greatest patriot is always referred to as Gid Wallace, the good Wallace. So why this designation? To me, the answer came in a line in the 7th stanza of the same poem. And that line reads, and this is Wallace speaking, "I am a true Scot, born and bred." The Wallace was a true Scot indeed, one who heeded the precept of his uncle, the priest of Dunipace. Diso tibi verum, libertas es optima rerum, nunquam seber subnexu vivito fili. I tell you truth, of all things liberty's the best. O never be my son, with slavery oppressed. The Wallace fought for Scotland when our native land was indeed with slavery oppressed. Oppressed by an invading, avaricious and indeed a barbarous southern foe. The historical tale of Wallace is well known, his struggles, his battles, his unceasing labours to free his native land. And that final scene, a scene only enacted by treachery from within which brought about his betrayal, that final scene is brutal, inhuman, judicial murder at the hands of a foreign power far from his native land. The final physical agony of the Wallace was great. In these last excruciating moments, he knew that his beloved Scotland was at that time being ground out of existence by an implacable foe. But still, unrepentant and defiant, the Wallace surely still believed, "I am a Scot, a true Scot, born and bred." That sacred belief is far greater than any physical destruction wrought upon his body. That belief ensured that the spirit of Wallace did not die. As a drop of rain merges into the ocean, so the spirit of the Wallace merged and melded into the very soul of our nation, that of Scotland. Thus the Wallace passed into legend, not that of mythology, but that which is deep and meaningful. His example inspired others to take up the cause, the freedom of Scotland. And after a long bloody struggle, brought that vision into a reality, that vision which Wallace died for. They too realised what it meant to be a true Scot. During the struggles of the Wallace, he lacked much: manpower, equipment, and especially political support. There was no home life, and often no creature comforts. Not for a few days, but over many years. Many lesser beings would have given up, submitting for a life of comfort and safety under a foreign yoke. The Wallace did not do so, and why? The answer was engraved on his very heart and soul. I am a true Scot, born and bred. Today, we are gathered here to honour the Wallace. There are many wheel-kent faces and flags and banners of many active groups and organisations. Today, the struggle for the full freedom of our nation continues. That task, set by the Wallace, is still before us. The battlefield may have changed, but the full achievement of freedom can only be realised by those who have, in their hearts and souls, that which is the spirit of Wallace. I am a true Scot, born and bred. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attendance.
There is a bit of a do on in the hall tonight, as I'm sure most of you are aware, and we have Albanach Pipes and Drums Band who will be playing their hearts out, and we have a gentleman who I am extremely lucky to call a personal friend, Ted Christopher here. Many of you will probably remember Ted's single that went to #1 after the Dunblane massacre, and he was knocked off the #1 spot by the Spice Girls. In fact, he's only one of my mates that's been knocked off by all the Spice Girls, but there we go. But I didn't know if Ted would turn up early, but I'm lucky enough that he has, because it saves me having to inflict anyone with me having to sing Scots Wi Hae. And Ted will say a few words and then give us his rendition of Scots Wi Hae. There's so many people here that I need to say thanks to, but you all know who you are. There's so many people do wee bits and pieces for Wallace Day, just putting bits and pieces together in the hall, even the bunting going up and the PA being arranged, you know, and so people do it because they care deeply about Scotland, they care about our past, they care about William Wallace, and they care about where this country is going, which I think is a common thread amongst each and every one of us. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to hand you over to the man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Christopher.